Today I'm doing an updated video for the Trickster since Golem is patched and you can no longer just run through everyone simply by having your only defensive mod being Golem. So I've also switched over to the Death Shield as my primary weapon simply because now I need two defensive mods to have really good defense. And the Bulwark requires two perks for bleed to be highly offensive. And the Death Shield also lets me gain a little bit of life. So the Death Shield just seems to let me go in and do more damage with still having high survivability. So I have moved on to having the Death Shield as my primary weapon, but I will show one alternative piece that you can run if you still want to run the Bulwark. So everything is still going to be bonus firepower, close range, cooldown reduction, and close range damage. We are still going to be running Hunt the Prey and Crit Stack. This Hunt the Prey decreases the school cooldown. You actually have a few choices. This is like the 10th swap out mod where you have a couple of different choices you can use for that one. And I'll get into those in a moment. But Captain Hunter is a definite. Twisted Rounds increased 15%. Another definite. All the rest are definites. Close range. Borrow time, 38 extra damage while it's active. Now, with this build, you're going to get 56 seconds plus just over 56 seconds of borrowed time, and you will have a cooldown of 6 seconds before you can activate it again. We're going to keep Bloodlust because you're not really going to be aiming with this build. If you are one of those people that do prefer to aim all their shots, then obviously switch out Bloodlust. With Sharp Eye, I find it much easier to play with strafing and hip firing all my shots. Excuse me. And our defensive, we're going to be running Borrow Time, Increased Duration, and receive 146,000 armor and 30% resistance bonus while the skill is activated. With a 50k plus armor build, that brings you to just under 200k. And if you had a maxed out armor build, 200k armor while Borrow Time is active, which is basically all the time, especially if you're running with a good group of 3 on T15s or whatever difficulty. If you have a good group of 3, then you should be able to kill every section with a well-timed borrow time placement at the start of the engagement once the first elite or once the battle actually gets serious. So on to our swap out mod. Now the benefit of having Hunt the Prey with this build gives you a 3.9 second cooldown, allowing you to teleport behind an enemy like a boss, like a broodmother, fire 14 shots, and by the time you fire that 14 shot, you can instantly teleport behind her again. So depending on the enemy you're fighting, if you're fighting like a Captain Elite, you can teleport behind, fire like 7 shots, then start to pull back, shoot some more after he melees, then teleport back in. Broodmothers, you can just generally fire 14, teleport right back in. So it lets you be highly aggressive and do a lot of damage. Now, alternatively, there are a couple other ones you could use. You could use the Bloodlust Sharp Eye combo if you want to aim in shots and get double that way. You can use Vulnerability, which will increase your damage by 25% for 10 seconds. Now, this is actually highly useful. You will have just a slightly slower 4.9 second Hunt the Prey time, I believe. And if you don't have a Techno or anybody else inflicting vulnerability, this can be highly useful to take out elites quick, especially in groups. Alternatively, you also have, I don't know where it is right here, but you have the 30% extra, there it is, 30% extra critical damage while the skill is active. Those are your best 10th mod choices. Pick the one that fits your scenario and playstyle best. So for this build, obviously, we're going to be running Borrow Time, Twisted Rounds, and Hunt the Prey. If you're not already familiar with the glitch currently going with Hunt the Prey, If you do mess up and you start to reload, immediately spam your hunt the prey until you can teleport behind somebody, and then melee, and you will get your rounds back. Now, the Death Shield, if you were following my previous build with a Bulwark, has a 2-second reload time instead of 3, and that's why I say spam Hump the Prey, because once you get to that 1.5-second mark, you've already passed too much time and you will lose your reload. So for the class tree for this, we're going to be increasing close range weapon damage, increasing armor piercing, which is less important. We do not want faster reload time in case we do lose our mag. Increased weapon damage, increased shotgun damage, increased close range damage, increased critical damage, reduced cooldown, increased damage. Doesn't really matter. Increased damage, increased damage. Get the pattern? Increased damage, increased damage, reduce cooldown, increase damage, more magazine, also equates to more damage, and more damage. So it's just a very high DPS. And the reason, just want to state one more time, the way I like to play is either with Hunt the Prey or inflict vulnerability on Hunt the Prey. I find this build has enough damage as it is, provided you have like an 80+K Death Shield. Especially in 3-player, if there have any debuffs going, then it's just really easy. And even without debuffs, you still have the power to take out the enemies. You might have to teleport them, and you have to play smart a little bit when the battle gets really hectic, and you might have to just teleport to an enemy like an elite, fire a few shots, then teleport to an ad, kill him real quick, and teleport back. But if you play smart, you have the firepower. I don't really think that 30% extra critical damage is needed. I prefer to be able to teleport as fast as possible, or to inflict massive damage and let my team inflict massive damage on the elites that I teleport behind, especially getting that opening on the elite when they are able to have vulnerability inflicted on them. And that is my updated build for the Trickster now that Golem is patched and is a pretty shit mod. The borrow time and the armor actually still lets you go in. You're a little bit less resilient than just having the old previous Golem 100%, but this 200% armor, if you play smart, I just don't go really down. When I fight like 50 dudes firing guns at me, I have to be smart. But you definitely have the armor to be highly aggressive and just be tactical. I hope that helps.